Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys, want to welcome you to another live show. Both Stevie Street and Miss J. How are you guys doing today?
Good
Good.
evening. Good evening, Nnamdi. Good evening, Miss J.
Good evening.
Good
Yes.
How is
evening
it
to
over
all the
there?
amazing viewers out there.
Well, Queen D, early bird, welcome. Coming in bright and early. Welcome.
Oh, Queen Bee.
Yes, happy Valentine's weekend. I think a lot of places are throwing out dances and parties on Saturday. So, happy Valentine's weekend. Um, Stevie, your AIA girlfriend, how did you guys celebrate?
Listen, I've had a wonderful Valentine's. I feel like the cat that's got the cream. It started yesterday morning when I arrived at work, and at the work reception, it said an anonymous lady has left you this on reception, Steve.
Wow, wow,
A Terry's chocolate orange,
my
dark orange.
goodness.
Wow. What does
So,
that taste like?
what an amazing start to the day, and then it got even better. One of my side chicks
Oh,
got me a box of celebrations. She wanted, and she left me a little note celebrating the fact that for all the many years that she's been my side chick, how satisfied she feels. You know what I mean? And then and then last night, about to go to bed, and then there's a knock at the door, a FedEx thing at the door. Royal bum bum bum. I answered, and a big box of Cadbury's Heroes.
My goodness, my goodness.
From a note from my AI girlfriend saying, I don't know how you found me in this digital world, but you've changed me as a woman, and you are my hero.
Oh my goodness.
wow.
Well, Stevie is really racking it up.
So,
Yeah.
I had a fantastic Valentine's. How was
Well-
yours, Jay?
I had to work on Valentine's Day, but other than that, it's just a day. It's just a day.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're spending the weekend with. They were spending it with us.
No
Uh,
flowers, no PMs. What?
Sweet nothings from Michael.
Look at the red attire, very pretty tonight. What's going on, Jay? No
Thank
Valentine's.
I'm here with you guys.
Yes, yes. Hey, want to welcome M Mac. He says this is one of the toughest top tens he's ever done. Well, welcome. Gen X Carnivore, welcome. David, welcome. Mind over matter. I'm glad you were able to join us today. Happy belated Valentine's. But yes, Stevie's having a sneaky link in his bingo card. I must say I didn't have Stevie have. But yes, so Dr. Funk, yes, he says he got the album. It's over 350 for the vinyl
Wow,
of this reissue.
I can believe it.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, this is
Hold
definitely.
on. What about yours, Nnamdi? What about your Valentine?
Hey, yeah. Well, I've took I didn't take the family out, but I gave they ordered whatever dinner they wanted, and I had to bring it, and yes, so that's how we, at this stage when you've got your young kids and the family and the wife, you make sure what does everyone want on Valentine's, and I'll go get it. So I was the Deliveroo messenger. Yes. But what do we think about the Toni Braxton debut album? Was ladies first, Miss J. What's your give us your thoughts on this album released in 1993?
Pins across the board. I love this album. Like just about every song to me is a 10. Just about every song. Like you can't really skip on this. But every song is a good song on this album. So to me, it's like a no skip record. And it was great. She came out the door swinging with her first album. Great.
Definitely. What about you, Stevie? What was your thoughts on it?
The album's just class, isn't it? It's a class album. It has stood the test of time. There's some great songs on this. I'll be honest, I didn't listen to every song back to back then, but I did, I played the singles a lot. There was a few up tempos that I liked. There was a few of the more slower jams or some of the ballads that I didn't near the end that I was like, But overall, what a debut album! What a voice she had. She had her own look as well.
Mm.
You know, her own. It just had everything, didn't you? Could see why they signed her. I mean, I don't know if any of you remember 3 years earlier, the Braxtons put out a single. It was just one single called "Good Life."
No, I never heard that.
Oh, yeah, the sisters themselves. And I didn't realize, Toni was singing that track, and you just didn't realize then that she'd go on to be solo and be a huge success. But obviously, Arista had signed. They had signed 3 years earlier, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah, I'm glad we're talking about it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just a little facts on the album. It's in the US it did over 6 million, but worldwide it did over 10 million. She earned 3 Grammys based on this album, Best Newcomer. And when I remember interviewing Daryl Simmons, who is one of the silent partners, he co-produced the songs with Face and Reid. And the history was that actually when they initially decided to sign her instead of her sisters, she was singing the demos for Anita Baker. So Give You My Heart was supposed to be a duet with Anita Baker. So she was singing that. Another Sad Love Song, Breathe Again, and You Mean the World to Me. They were recorded for Anita Baker. And so Toni's singing them. Anita's listening to them. And she was like, "Nah, I don't like this. I don't like this." And then she says, "What about the young lady singing? Why don't you have her sing the song? Because she really sounds great." And they just said, "Okay." Now it was straight from me. I'm thinking, wow, don't they, Anita, they were thinking Anita just said they don't like her songs. And it was a cop out. But I thought, wow, she was right. Toni had a very unique voice. And she was like, don't you hear what she's doing with these songs? I know you're trying to give them to me, but she's actually killing them. So so for me, Toni she'll go down in the 90s as an artist that had a unique voice. We had Whitney, we had a Mary, we had Tamir for me, but I think Toni is one of those voices that really stood out. And I think her voice is better than Mariah. That's just my opinion. Mariah can hit those high notes, and she was marketed as a pop artist, but I thought Toni, with her range and her tonations when she sings, I thought she was right up there. You have Whitney on one level, but I thought Toni was on that second level. So an amazing way of coming out, and we'll go through the songs. But it was this is what owning your label is about, finding a talent like that and really showcasing her to the world. So I think this was an amazing combination between Toni Braxton's vocals, LA Babyface, and Daryl Simmons writing, production, and great marketing.
Yeah. Great story that from Daryl Simmons, by the way, that you just told there, Nnamdi.
Yeah, I thought that it wasn't that Anita Baker didn't like it. I thought it was because she was pregnant that she couldn't do it, or she didn't want to.
No, she kept passing on the vocals. No, Anita was quite old. She was
wasn't old.
No, she was not having no kids in 92. And she didn't, because when we review the songs, they sound like Anita type of songs, the kind of jazzy, you can hear the piano, you can hear, they were almost trying to say, this is what Anita sounds like. And she wasn't feeling it, but she definitely felt Toni's vocals, and so give her the songs. And then a year or two later, she came out with Giving You the Best That not Giving You the Best That I Got, I Apologize. So she came out with her own type of stuff, but you could see that it was just in the same type of range. Yes, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I mean, as I said, I was amazed. The first time I think I heard her, it was Love Shoulda Brought You Home last night, because I don't know how many of you saw Boomerang, the film, when it came out. And then you had that part with Halle Berry telling Eddie Murphy, well, love should have brought you home last night. And then the song comes out and you're like, wow, what kind of the way they wrote that song, it was just Yes, it was just an low. But anyway, Apologize came out in 94. So this is, so you can see, they started recording this in 92. It came out in 93. And Anita was still working on the album.
Anita
And
was pregnant. I just checked. She was pregnant. She had her baby January 19th, 1993. Yes.
I apologize. I apologize for that. I didn't think. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Well, you got to remember back then, Nnamdi, a lot of those artists had a bit more mystery about them. There don't seem to be much mystery about artists these days with social media.
Wow.
So I didn't know that Anita was pregnant back then. I didn't even know Bobby Brown was having a thing with Janet Jackson. I found
me too.
out like
it was recently. Yeah, it was like
I found that out 5 years late. We just didn't know back then. There was no social media, was there? No internet. So
yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm like, what? Anita pregnant? Okay.
Yeah, her first son. I was happy that she passed on it because I got to fall in love with Toni Braxton's voice. So it was a great move on both parts.
Yeah, because imagine because we would have, I think these songs were so, Toni brought them to life. Imagine if they had to start finding new songs for her. Would it, in the moments that, it would have been the whole movement. And she had the benefit of a movie soundtrack, which really put it and propelled and stuff. Yes.
I'm just thinking, Miss J, Toni Braxton's haircut. Was you tempted this week to go and get your hair? Because I know you like to change your hair, and was you tempted to go and get that hairstyle this week?
This week I was tempted to put a short wig on. Yes, to say yes. Yes. It's hard to put my hair up under a short wig, but I was tempted. But her and Halle Berry, they carried this style. Like, you know how the video started with the movie from Boomerang, the clip. I wanted Halle Berry to be in the video because for some reason I don't ever remember seeing Halle and Toni together, but they always get confused for each other. I don't know if you heard Halle Berry did this story like a couple months ago where she said somebody was like, "Oh my God, I love you. You're my favorite celebrity. Can I get your autograph? Make it out to Jessica Love Toni Braxton." And she said, "I'm Halle Berry, B."
Wow. No, but I think around that time there was I don't know how many black females were doing that short haircut and stuff. And I wonder if she did it for the movie almost for the movie.
Halle?
Yeah, no, Toni. Whether Toni did it because who did it first? Anyway, okay. We're going off track. We're going off track. We're going off track. I mean, Boomerang was an amazing soundtrack, and it was great that this song was a lead-in. People are saying they couldn't imagine Anita singing some of these songs, but for me, actually, you listen to the first couple of tracks, and I could hear Anita, and I could see where they were trying to get to, and I could see they were trying to give that Anita vibe, which worked because Toni took it to a different level, but Anita's still the queen. We will do Anita in another time, but let us come up with. And it's funny, we've got just the lovely thing talking. Pepple came up with the idea for Toni to have a short haircut. So we're going into a look, so we need to stay back into the music. But what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go through each of the songs real quickly, just have thoughts on it. And then we're going to do our top 10 because the album had, the general album had 12 songs. One of them was just a reprise, so it was like 11 songs. And so we just, it would be great just to go through, talk a little bit about the songs, and then we're going to take our time and explain why each song was in our top 10. So, Jay, it'd be great for you, Jay. Just another love song. What did you? Song. Yes, another sad love song. What was your thought about that? 5 minutes long.
I loved it. Another sad love song. Toni just had, I don't know, she had a hold on this era to me. Like another sad love song. I love. It's a 10 out of 10 to me. Another sad love song.
Stevie, what did you make of it?
It was the lead off single, wasn't it?
I don't know. Okay, it was the first single in the album. Yes.
So it's a perfect radio song. You know, it can go across R&B, pop radio. Interestingly, I'm just looking at the background vocals, and I always mention this lady because I'd love to love to
interview her. Deborah Killings.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Deborah, I've been trying to get a hold of her to come on. I've been
trying to get. I know she's got so many stories. I just know.
Yeah.
What a great lead-off single. There's not much else you can say, really.
Right.
Do you know what? Does it not remind you of Can We Talk? No, not that one. Sorry, it's a.
No, there's lots of chord progression changes on this album that remind you of Can We Talk.
Yeah.
There is so many.
I just loved how it just down, and then no. Oh goodness, it was.
I mean, it's interesting because this is the album where it just hit me actually. Where Ellie and Babe, their sound changed. Their sound from like the
they just did
Jack, the drum sounds that we had all changed, and it went. And they must have saved it for this album because after that you got Tevin Campbell and his. Like you say, was so similar. So there was a huge change in production. So not a huge change, but you could tell.
It was. I think it's either the sound. It was the same. That sound just changed because remember they had just finished with the Humping Around and Good Enough, and that was probably their worst work. The Bobby album.
Stop it, Nnamdi.
It was probably their worst work ever. So I think
this is what I get every week. I get this every week, Jay.
I think they went back to the drawing board and realized, okay, no, we need to up our game, and they did on this one. But yeah, that was their worst work. But yeah.
No.
If you don't cut it out.
Yeah, no. Bobby's one of my favorite albums. So yeah, I actually skipped the Humping Around and Good Enough and Love and yeah. Anyway, we're on a different album now. Breathe Again. So what about Breathe Again? what about Breathe Again?
Let me breathe.
Chi Boy Shade. Yeah, no. Okay, no. Okay. I love the Bobby album. I think Babyface, LA, Babyface, and Daryl Simmons, they upped their game on this album. So, but okay, Breathe Again. Come on, Stevie, Breathe Again. What did you think? Breathe Again. Breathe Again.
It's just a classic. It really is a classic track. Now, I'm just checking Discord because I want to make sure this was the second single. Was it the second single? Let me check. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was the second single was it was the second single after it was the second single, and I think they just released it in order. Yeah.
Well, no, I suppose really it was the third because they released "Love Shoulda Brought You Home" in 1992. Then it was another sad love song in 93. Then Breathe Again.
Well, that was a soundtrack, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, so it came on the soundtrack.
I suppose from this album, it's the second single. From this album,
it is the second single. Yeah, Breathe Again. Yeah. So the first three, the first four singles that they released were the ones they wrote for Anita. In those order, those first were the ones for Anita Baker. So.
Yeah, a shameless plug here. I did play this. I'm doing a radio show on a Saturdays.
Back, guys. He's back
on legacy901.com if anybody wants to listen. It's also on my Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/Stevie Street. I played it a few weeks ago, Breathe Again. I'm just sat there in the studio going, it's just great. Just sounds amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a haunting song. It really is.
I think it's But I think you listen to the lyrics, and I love the echoing background. I think that's the one thing we miss about the 90s is the background vocals. Mm-hmm. That was an art form. Uptown had their version of it, but everyone had their backing vocals that complement part of the song, and that's been stripped away. But that was definitely a beautiful song.
Breathe Again. Beautiful. Yeah. Typical Babyface genius.
Yes. Then we had 7 Whole Days. Miss J, what did you think of that one?
7 Whole Days. I remember having to play this song to a guy.
Wow.
Like, you think I'm still gonna be with you? It's been 7 whole days since I had to do that. Put the song on the voicemail back then. Like, yeah, left a message for 7 whole days.
What happened, Jay? Had he not been round for 7 whole days or something?
7 whole. Was I not around?
No, was he? Did he not?
Correct.
Did he not come round for 7 whole days?
And I'm like, what?
Wow.
That's ghosting in my book. What's going on?
Yeah, we know what's going on there. We definitely know what's going on there.
So 7
Oh
whole
yes,
days
he's got
telling my story. This song was telling my story. I was like, oh, so I was in love with this song. I'm like, yeah, let me give you that Toni Braxton. 7 whole days, another perfect song. 10 out of 10.
See that I don't have the CD with me, but I love what M. Mac was saying about Johnny Gill. You know, they were doing the Johnny Gill album, doing backgrounds. Shanice was signed to LaFace, so she was on the backgrounds and Pebbles. Because that's what I'm saying. What really got me with the LaFace productions were the backgrounds, because Daryl Simmons sang backgrounds, Babyface sang backgrounds, but it's just it was good. It's almost as if she's singing and there's echoing like, "Are you married in 7 days? He hasn't gone back to you." It was part of the story.
Yeah.
And Face writing these songs, man, you know, it's a beautiful, beautiful track. Now, You Mean the World to Me. This was Daryl Simmons' favorite Toni Braxton song ever. He says he just loved her vocals. He just loved the song, that it was his favorite song ever he's done. You know, he did Can We Talk? He did all this stuff, but he said this was his favorite song ever. But did you guys feel it as if it was an amazing song, or You Mean the World to Me?
Well, You Mean the World to Me?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I was going off the release. Sorry. Let's go Love Affair. Sorry, I was going off the singles.
Okay.
Sorry. Love Affair. Sorry.
Love Affair. You can tell it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Of course, I like it because she's not down with OPP. You know, like she wasn't that kind of girl. You didn't really hear songs, to me, maybe because it was the 90s, but you don't hear songs like this anymore. You know, where she's being faithful, she wants to stay with her man. It was a beautiful ballad. I could tell it was not typical Face, but it wasn't him. So
no, it wasn't him. No.
But Toni sang it just like it flowed right along with all the rest of the songs. So it was beautiful.
Yeah, Stevie, did you?
Very, it's got a very sophisticated shuffling sound to it. To what I mentioned, one of our regular viewers, it's his birthday. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. David Yardin, happy birthday, sir. I'm happy that you're joining us tonight. Many happy returns.
Happy birthday, David.
He's a big Blackstreet and Teddy fan as well. But yeah, Love Affair. Again, solid track. Very, like I say, very sophisticated. Obviously, it wasn't a single, was it? But good album track, solid.
But what I
track.
liked about Love Affair was the story she was telling, and I could hear you could hear what she was saying, because nowadays you hear singers sing and you can't really pick up what they're saying. But she was telling a story. Look, I don't want to be faithful, and I wouldn't even go out with you if this is how you are, knowing that I'm in a relationship and you're still coming after me. And I liked the little saxophone that was going through it as well. It was definitely really well placed.
Mm-hmm.
We have number 5, which was Candlelight.
Candlelight, I love it. It's just such a classy, beautiful, and her songs make you imagine in a way. They tell you a story. Like, they are so descriptive in a way that makes you visualize what you're listening to. So I thought it was a beautiful song.
Oh, okay. Can you remember this one, Stevie? Because I know.
It's very melodic. You're talking about keyboards and pianos that they came up with on the. You can definitely tell on this album. I'm just looking again. Who's featured on the track? KO. There's no real backing vocals. Dave Way, mixed by Dave Way. His name around.
I have a question.
It's not a track I played a lot, I'll be honest, but once I have been listening to it over the last few weeks, and it's another strong track. But I just didn't listen to it a lot back then. This particular track.
I have a question. Do you guys in the UK have radio stations that are like, we have like light rock back, especially years ago? It was like light rock. It was R&B stations. There were rock stations. alternative stations, and like some music is certain artists are played on certain radio stations only. Like Toni Braxton back then, like it was an R&B channel that would play just about certain artists all the time, you know, like Black artists, urban artists. And then there's certain songs in the middle of the road that everybody plays them. But like this song right here, I feel like it didn't get a lot of play on urban radio, but it did get played on like light rock radio stations years ago.
Now, what we had in the 80s and the early 90s, especially going up to the mid 90s, it was pirate radio. It was illegal radio in this country, because mainstream radio wouldn't play black music. They just wouldn't. You'd hear the odd track here and there, but you wouldn't hear like 24 hours of like R&B and hip hop. And, you know, so pirate radio sprung up. So you had a lot of radio DJs playing on pirate radio. It was only in the early 90s that a few like black music radio stations legally appeared. There was obviously Choice FM in London, weren't there, Nnamdi? Sunset Radio in Manchester, but it started around 91, I'd say 1990, where they were all trying to get legal, and you know the rest is history really. But you do have this segregation in the States of different, like you got your country radio, your pop, urban radio. I mean, the one good thing about this country is you do get a mix of stuff. You'll hear everything on pop radio. You'll hear all styles of music, apart from, say, Swedish death metal. But you know,
Okay.
I've been a fight for many years to get a lot of black music heard on the radio in this country.
That was but you know that it's a lot different now. We've got BBC One Extra, which is urban, but and then we've got
youth. It's the urban,
more younger. Then there's the Capital Extra, and then we've got the Rewind as well. We
still haven't got a classic like R&B station.
Yeah, there is. Well, no, it's old school. So that's Capital One Extra Rewind, which is all 90s R&B that they play. Spend the Night with You, so Spending My Time with You, which was her first upbeat track on the album. What did you think, Stevie?
Oh, I really enjoyed this one for obvious reasons. This was probably had the more the sound that you're used to from LA and Babyface.
But they didn't do it though. It was Bob and MacArthur. Yeah, Spend My Time with You.
Yeah, you're right.
That kind of still sound like their sound.
I thought it was their attempt to redo Their Wrongs from Humping Around, and I thought that was their. You agree?
No, it says mixed by L.A. Reid and John Gass. That's why.
Yeah, it sounded like Humping Around type of. Yeah.
We're just getting too geeky here now, anyway.
But it was a nice little up-tempo stuff. Yeah, I did like it. Okay.
Spending My Time.
I actually played that one today.
10, yeah.
You don't think it sounds like Give You My Heart a little bit? It kind of sounds like.
Yeah, it has that sound.
Yeah.
It does have
And
that.
Mac, there's only 11 songs on there, so if it didn't make your top 10, I wonder if you just put the reprise of Breathe Again in it. So hey, that would be sad. Anyway, the song that introduced Toni Braxton to the world, Love Shoulda Brought You Home.
Oh.
What did you think, Stevie?
It's got a real classic soul feel to it. Just a brilliant. It reminds me of a song that you'd probably hear on a 70s soul track. Love Shoulda Brought You Home, sort of thing. Barry White would sing. Just that classic feel. It's great song, timeless song. And again, it was great for that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Jay.
The movie. Every time I hear it, I think about Halle Berry telling off Eddie Murphy, and I love this song, but of course I always think about the movie and Toni Braxton and Halle Berry and how for me, there's a whole story about them too, like the Shamar Moore story always comes to mind. I get sidetracked with the song, but I do love this song.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've never heard this comparison with Halle Berry. This is a new to me this evening.
She did. It's just Strictly Business. What did she do? Did she do Strictly Business with the song? The song that had.
Yeah.
She was in that film. Did she have the short hair? She did start with that short hair stuff.
She had short hair. Yeah, both of them. Like So I think Halle we saw first with the short hair. And then when Toni came out, she rocking a similar haircut. But back then, like right now, if you ask them right now, and throughout the years interviews, they always like people will ask, who do you get mistaken for when it comes to Halle Berry? And she'll say, people mistake me depending on my hair. If it's short, they think I'm Toni Braxton. If it's long, they think I'm Janet Jackson. If you ask Toni Braxton the same question, she'll say Janet Jackson and Halle Berry. So people think they all look like each other. So yeah, so people still walk up to them in the state, here they walk up to them and confuse them for some reason. I can tell the difference because both of them, I love them both.
Yeah, of course you can.
I don't see.
It's working.
Have a gorgeous style, they're both beautiful women.
Yeah, David was saying that all the best songs, heartbreak songs from the album. I think when I listen to this, it's as if Face. I mean, this is the genius of Babyface. It's like he watched the movie, hears that line, and says, "I'm going to write a song on that line from a female's perspective." And you're thinking, man, that's the genius of Face, just to hear that and just write a whole song about that. And it's good that in the beginning of the video they show that scene, and then you hear the song, and it's a song that you listen to as a man, and you're like, oh snap, yeah, I should have come back, or I should have called. I mean, it's hard not to get away from feeling guilty when you hear that track. But I have to give a shout out to, as I said, to Babyface for his genius in writing that. But the way Toni delivered it and stuff, amazing. We've got a Vassal Benford production, I Belong to You. What did we think of it, Stevie?
Looking back, it was all about the remix.
Oh, I didn't hear the remix. I'm just.
Have you ever heard the Soul Power remix?
Let me write that down.
Are you on Soul Sock and Carlin?
So, yeah, It was them guys. They did a remix of it, and I guess it depends what city you're from. But in my city, that was getting played in all the R&B clubs. I used to be going out and like I say, going back to pirate radio, it was being hammered on pirate radio. But probably because the 12-inch came over on import, and all the DJs were buying it in the record shops, and then he had I Belong to You on one side, and it had How Many Ways, the R. Kelly remix on the other side. So £5.99 just bought that record because it had two massive remixes on it. So, but again, I've got a lot of good memories of I Belong to You. That especially that remix.
I mean,
anyway.
Just before I say anything of this, I was asked yesterday when I interviewed Law again, the group, and they said, what was your favorite interview? And I said, of recent, it was my interview with Soul Shock from Soul Shock and Carlin. He's probably, he reminded me of Jurgen Klopp, the kind of, he's Dutch, so he's from Denmark, but he's speaking English, and he was excited, and he was really in depth about all the works they did, Whitney Houston and all that stuff. But if you haven't listened to the 3.5 hours, it's an amazing interview with Soul Shock from Soul Shock and Carlin. But this reminded me with this I Belong to You. At first, I'm thinking it sounded like Mariah Carey's Emotions. You've got me feeling emotions. I belong to you. It had that, and it had the uplifting side of Sounds of Blackness type of song. So it felt really, because we've just been going, Love Should Have Brought You Home last night. And then you listen to this and you're like, you can feel upbeat. So I can imagine how if you did a Soul Power remix, you still got the energy of really, it just feels like an upbeat gospel type of track. But the original one reminded me of Emotions, like you got me feeling emotions. Yeah.
I need to send you both. I'll send you both the remix this week. I'll dig it out because it just you'll understand why when you hear it what I'm talking about.
This is one of my favorite songs on the album. I would like to, because I think I listened to other ones a million times. This song to me is kind of underrated. I feel like it didn't get a lot of play. To me, not enough.
I don't think it came out as well. It must have come out in Europe. It came out as a double. It was the last single that came out. I Belong to You in How Many Ways. Yeah.
They still don't play this on the radio. Every other song that we've said, all the singles, they play all those. They don't play this song.
like I say, it's a DJ track, turntable track. It was a big one back then.
Yeah, they had the soul power. Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, we didn't see that here. I was in Ezekiel. I'm not sure if he did the Rashawn Patterson. So yeah, he might have if they did any work with Rashawn Patterson. But okay, what about How Many Ways? Oh man,
Monster track.
You let me count the ways.
Oh dear, what a track this was.
Genius, right?
The remix again, the R. Kelly mix. Have you heard the R. Kelly mix? You must have heard that mix. Oh my! Everyone commenting tonight. I know they're all like shaking their heads, going.
It must have been a European remix. It must have come out to Europe because we didn't.
Again, I'll have to send you. The R. Kelly. What I'll do is I'll get the CD single out and just send you that maxi CD.
You just don't know.
You like the remix better than the original?
They're both good. They're both. But once you hear this put whatever feelings you've got about R. Kelly aside, and just listen to the mix. It'll blow your head away.
No, I like when he did Anytime, Any Place remix for Janet. So. So I could imagine.
You got to think 93. R. Kelly was and everything he touched was gold back then.
Okay. I didn't hear the remix. Okay, but that's How Many Ways. So maybe that's why it came out as this. Because I was surprised it came out as a single. But that We Count the Ways. Yes. What about You Mean the World to Me? Before we could, that was. That's Daryl Simmons' favorite Toni Braxton song. What did you make of it, Stevie?
I'll be honest, I don't remember it.
You mean the world to me.
I did have a listen to it in the week and I thought, I should have listened to this more. It's not that I don't like it. I thought, I should have given this a bit more of a chance. But back then, I just didn't listen to it. I'm being honest. Being honest. No, there's no point in telling.
What about you, Jay?
I love it. This is her best to me. This is one of her best albums.
Her best songs on the album?
No, the album, period. Like it's just every song on here. Like I love just about every song on here. Like that's another good song. Like of course, Babyface is on there, but his typical writing partners that give him like the best. For some reason, together, all three of them together, I can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. It's You Mean the World to Me. The breakdown of it when she breaks it down and goes off, love it.
Okay.
Love it.
We got Best Friend. Stevie, what did you think of this one?
That's the hands in the air big ballad moment, isn't it? Not for me.
This is the David Foster version kind of song.
Yeah, not for me. This get your handkerchief out, get your hands in the air, your candles out.
Best Friend. I wrote down, I Believe the Children Are Our Future. You know how Whitney Houston, that was that kind of song. It was that kind of, I was like, it was like she was singing. It just didn't feel almost like they said, look, but
children really the future, Nnamdi. Really
no, but what I was trying to get at, it felt like that type of song you'd hear in the 80s where they would play that kind of song.
Okay, yes, that's true.
It felt dated. It felt like Toni was probably in her early 20s, and they were almost like, no, we want you to sound like you're in your 30s or 40s from the 80s. So that was just my gripe with that song. It was a nice, beautiful song.
Well, it was produced by Ernesto Phillips. He was the guy who produced The Good Life 3 years earlier for the Braxtons.
Okay.
Same guy.
Okay. So maybe they owed it to him. But yeah, it was... Maybe it was one of those things to get him out the deal. It's like, okay, we'll get her out the deal. We'll give you a track on there. But okay. I mean,
someone in the Ernesto Phillips, someone in the comments did he do Star Point? Am I getting mixed up? He did some other big. I'm sure he did some other big things, soul things back then. I'll have to have a look on Discogs, but someone in the comments can put me right on that. Ernesto Phillips, that. I'm sure that guy's done a lot of stuff, but I'll have to do my research.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure he's done some stuff. So okay, so and then we're not really going to talk about Breathe Again reprise, but a song that was on the European version of the CD of the album was Give You My Heart, but it was a remix, which I didn't like the remix. But what did we make of he said Ernesto was in Starpoint.
So I was
Yeah, he
right,
was
was
in the
I?
group Starpoint.
Is that correct? Yeah, I'm just looking at the disc. Yeah, looking at the Discogs now. Starpoint. What a group they were.
Okay.
He's done a lot of stuff. A hell of a lot of stuff. Milli Vanilli. He's done Milli Vanilli. Renee Diggs. Yeah. Sorry, going
yeah, okay. Well, Give You My Heart. So we can talk about the original version because I didn't like the remix on the album. But what did we make of that combo? Because actually that was supposed to be a duet with Anita Baker. So initially Face approached her to do the duet for the soundtrack and she turned it down, and then Toni came onto it. What did we make about that duet?
I know his number one. It's definitely. How could I forget his name? Where's Sheldon? It was Sheldon's number one. Do you remember?
What, Teddy Pendergrass?
It was his number one. LA and Babyface production when we did an LA and Babyface top 10 production. Sheldon had that as his number one, and we laughed at him for it. We really laughed at him, but we shouldn't have done because it's a good song. Maybe not a number one, but he was the track.
He did. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I couldn't Babyface Toni Braxton single, and I didn't make the correlation between her and the Braxtons at the time. So that, to me, that was the first time I'd heard Toni Braxton, even though I'd heard her 3 years early on the Braxtons record. I'm not talking nonsense here, aren't I? But anyway, yeah, I really like that track. I really, really like it a lot. But obviously on this, they've added a Three Boys from Newark remix. As a sequencing of it doesn't fit the sequencing of the album. It's just a bonus track.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to it so much back then. It was one of my favorites.
I mean, one of the things about Face is that he was such he knew how to work with women amazingly, write for them from their perspective. Unfortunately, I think the pressure on having, he's had 3 marriages, and it's almost that pressure of trying to live up to being the king of love songs, female love songs, and trying to be that kind of man. It's a challenge, but he's done some amazing duets with people. But he definitely, I think Tony's probably one of his favorite people to write and produce for. I think vocally they just seem to be a match made in heaven. So that was just us running through the songs on the album. So now we're going to go through our top 10. So hopefully you've got your list ready. So we're going to start with our number 10 and go down to what was our favorite track on the album. So yes, drum roll, please. So we can start with you, Miss J, ladies in the house.
All right. So my number 10 on my list would be Best Friend. Out of all of the songs, it was not my favorite.
Okay.
But 10.
Okay, that was number 10. Okay, Stevie, what do you still your list?
Interesting, because I had Best Friend at number 10. No, I didn't. No. Again, I'm talking nonsense. Right, number 10 is Candlelight. I've got Candlelight. I really like the track.
You really like the track, but it's at number 10.
The reason it's at number 10 because I just didn't play it much, but it is. I realise now it's such a really good record.
Okay. And Mark put it at number 10 as well. For me, okay, what did I just do here? Where's? Oh, that is strange. Best Friend didn't even make my top 10.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's not a surprise.
Yes, no, it's not a surprise. But number 10 might be a surprise to everyone. Is How Many Ways.
What?
Yeah.
Talking about
I
Willis.
love you. Let me count the ways. Yeah, I just thought it was very slow
Oh, dearie me.
and
Dearie
boring.
me, Nnamdi.
I just don't know.
Oh.
It was boring for me. I was like, yeah.
How many ways?
How many ways? Yeah, I
two?
did. Yeah, I can. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I listened to it, but it was number 10 for me.
Yeah, Miss J. This is what I've realised about. You know what I've described the three types of like ballads, and I've noticed now that there's a type of ballad that Nnamdi doesn't. Going off what he does on this podcast every week, he never really goes for the more sexual, like Quiet Storm type of ballads. He goes for the more candlelight ballads or the ballads that you'd hear on the radio. But the more thump and grind type ballad, he kind of veers away from those.
Okay.
Yeah. How many ways was it at number 10? So, but it made my top 10 though.
Wow.
Yeah. But and I think that's the fun part of this is that we all have our different tastes and stuff. So, Miss J, what about your number 9 then? Because I want to see.
Still shocked.
I mean, it was a great album. We went through the album, so
It was. Every song was a good song to me.
Yeah.
So, it was hard to make the list for me. Love Affair, I would put as number 9.
Oh. Okay. Stevie, what made your number 9?
I'd Love Affair as well at number 9. But
Wow.
I'm realising that is such a sophisticated. It is a great track.
Yes.
Reluctantly put again. I just didn't listen to it enough back then. I appreciate it a lot more now, though. A lot more now.
Okay. My number 9 was I Belong to You.
Oh, God.
What?
Yeah. Even though it sounded like Emotions, but I haven't heard the remix, so I'm only basing it off the original album. If I had heard the remix, I probably would be like, "Oh man, what a track!"
I don't know you anymore.
All the songs on the album are great. We went through each of the songs. There was no wrong or right answer. There was only 11 songs, so they had to fit around somewhere.
So far, me and Stevie's list is looking the same.
It's a straight. I love the album, and I must admit, I must have listened to this album over the past 2 weeks, probably 20, 30 times, and continuously. And so, yeah. But I think if we had heard the remixes, we may have a different opinion. But Miss J, what about your number 8?
Did we get Stevie's number? Did we? Oh yeah. Okay. 8. The next one is Candlelight. Candlelight. Even though I love it, Candlelight's next.
Okay, Stevie, what's your number 8?
7 whole days. Number 8.
What?
Yeah.
You see him? He's saying 7 whole days.
That's really hard. From number 8 to 1 is very hard because they're all so strong.
And they're saying I'm bugging. He has 7 whole days at number 8. Goodness. Give it oh goodness. Okay, so you can see so my number 8 was Candlelight. As much as I like it, but Candlelight was my number 8, but 7 whole days, man, that's sacrilege. You know. Red flag, red card to you, Stevie.
No way. You've already got a red flag with how many ways?
Oh, goodness. Number 7. I just threw my chair at the TV.
Spending My Time would be my next one.
Okay. Stevie, what's your number 7?
It'll shock a few people. Another Sad Love Songs at number 7. Maybe I've heard it one too many times.
You could see that, guys. I might have started a little weak on most of your, but Stevie's just going off the charts. He's just going off the rate. Another sad love song.
There's far stronger tracks coming out, in my opinion, anyway.
Another sad love song. He put it number 7.
It is. If I'm really honest about it, it's kind of a nursery rhyme. It's got a nursery rhyme feel to it.
Okay, well, you got Mark on your side. My number 7 is "You Mean the World to Me," and it's I mean, as I said, it was a nice song. Really, I love the lyrics. I love how she delivered it, but it was It's yeah, it was a little mature, but it was nice. So it's number 7. You mean the world to me for me. Okay. Yeah, it's yes. No way, no. Yeah, I don't I can't yeah, I don't know. Sad love song's not number top 3. That's Stevie, yeah. We're number 6 now. Miss J.
Okay, now we can say another sad love song. I have it for my next one.
You have another sad love song on number 6?
You having a go at me? She got it number 6.
Well, at least there's one higher than you.
Yeah, it's only one, though, isn't it?
The top 5 is hard. Like this was hard to rank these songs.
It's hard every week on this podcast. It really is. When we start digging these albums out, these really strong albums. It's
Yes.
No, but it's all love. It's all love. Nnamdi Johnston just said, apologizing for missing the first 50 minutes. Yeah, you mean the world to me. That's okay. So what did you have on your number 6, Stevie?
I mean, if I'm really critical, another sad love song could be above this track. It maybe should have been number 6, but I've got Spending My Time With You at number 6, probably because I'm stuck on my new Jack groove. That's why it's probably made it above another sad love song. Spending My Time With You made it to number 6. It could alternate with another sad love song for me, but yeah, mid-table for me. That.
Okay. R&B, J. No, we're not. We can't play the tracks, but we've just gone through the album, each track, and then we're ranking our top 10 on it. My number 6 was actually same thing, Spending My Time With You, and as I said, nice little kick and stuff. But it was, I loved the energy that it gave. But that came in at number 6 to me, Spending My Time With You. Probably higher than Humping Around would have been if I Spending My Time With You. So we're in the top 5, and we're going to spend a little bit more time going for our top 5. So Jay, what's number 5 for you?
Love Shoulda Brought You Home last night. Like
number 5.
5. This is hard. All of these are number 1. Every last one of these top 5 are number 1. All of them. So,
well, at least it's made your top 5 anyway.
It could have been 1, but 5.
Wow. What about you, Stevie?
Now, this is where I changed my chart, and I originally had You Mean the World to Me at number 10. But I erased it out and put in at number 5, so everything had to move up. Give You My Heart, because obviously it was on the bonus edition. I know I'm going against what I've said, that it doesn't run along the sequencing of the album, and it was a bonus track, but just because I played it so much back then, I enjoyed it so much, I had to have it in my top 10. So Give You My Heart has made the bonus. If the Americans get the European edition, and you get that bonus remix on it. So that's a number 5 for me.
Okay. And Max says I Belong to You was his number 5. So my number 5 was Love Affair. I just loved the storytelling. I just loved the it's you could have made a movie out of it, and it could have just been a soundtrack for a movie. Just the whole dynamics of how she's been faithful, but being open and honest about it. But it's in contrast of when we hear females singing R&B songs today.
Yes,
it's very different. There's that sense of dignity has gone out the window, and I think it started when Cassie came with You and I. Was it You and Me?
You and Me.
You and Me. It was written for Ryan Leslie. So Ryan Leslie wrote it for himself, because he wrote it from a guy's perspective, and he switched it around and gave it to her to sing. But it's a guy's song, and then from then on, females started to sing, like men started to ghostwrite for a lot of female hip hop artists, and it became the morals and the standards dropped, and I'm just saying.
Ryan Leslie. Okay.
Well, he with the Cassie, because it did well. It did well, and maybe people thought, let's try and emulate that, because we're not getting even Yo-Yo or Trina. I mean, were they? They were strong women singing about stuff. No, but just listening to Love Affair, listening to what she was saying, and listening to how she's holding herself up. Nowadays, yeah, where can we sneak around? I won't tell my man. It's like the contrast of what we're getting in music.
Okay.
Was
because SWV was doing it, and you just said that made me think about Anything, Baby. Remember that song, Anything? They were anything you want, I'll do.
Yeah,
and
but it was written from. Yeah, but it was written by men. Yeah.
Okay.
It was written by men. Yeah. So I mean, and unfortunately, unfortunately, it's a lot of these types of songs, they started to, men were writing from their perspective and women was just singing them, and then it started to grow on that, and which is unfortunate. Okay, you, me, and you, yeah. So that was written for Ryan was supposed to sing it, and he gave it to Cassie. And if you listen to it, I'm not like the other girls, but it was very much a man stuff. But I digress. I'm just saying how the values of what was in Love Affair is completely polar opposite to what we're getting from females today. I can't remember any of the female artists today, but anyway.
What we're getting today from female artists is miserable R&B. That's what we're getting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, yes. So we go back. So that's my find. Number four, Miss J.
You Mean the World to Me. Number 4.
Oh, okay. You mean the world to me? What?
It's a lady. I can understand that. It's a lady's type. I get that.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Steve? What's your number 4?
Oh gosh, I Belong to You is at number 4 for me, and that's the album mix, not the remix.
Okay. Wow, that high up.
Yeah, because
it's a great song.
I know, because I played it a lot at the time.
Is that the one that Toni wrote with Vincent Herbert?
Yeah.
Okay, that is surprising to me that Vincent Herbert was in the picture way back then, and still married Tamar. Sorry.
Oh, he was married to Tamar.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They had a show called Tamar and Vince. You never saw that? Like the Braxton Family Values, and then Tamar and Vince was a spinoff show.
Right.
Yeah.
We just didn't say any of that back then. All we had here was EastEnders and Coronation Street.
Goodness.
TV, unfortunately.
RD, the Predator said I like the remix better. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I haven't listened to the remix. My number 4 is Love Should Have Brought You Home last night. You should have been with me. Oh, goodness, that's just you should have been right by my side. I'm just like, man, how do you write songs like that? That's taking a situation and just writing it around there. I mean, I think maybe because we were spoiled by songs back then, but I think Face was always saying, when he writes a song, it's like, okay, who sings it? Does it feel right? Does it feel good? Yes, that was the word. Does it feel good? But who can interpret it best? Whether it's a Tevin Campbell or an Usher or himself or Karen White or whatnot. But just the fact that you can just a long track like Love Should Have Brought You Home last night and tell a story like that. It almost felt like Superwoman. It felt like that kind of story type of, just telling a story. And lyrically, it was just an amazing lyric. And then this was what you said earlier about the change of production by LaFace, where it didn't drown you up. You could hear what she's saying, and the music, the melody just keeps you going. And I wonder if Anita could have sang that. Maybe the lyrics were just not mature enough for her. She probably felt, this is just not the type of song that I sing. Now she did say I apologize, which is more of her, but in a way, she's saying, if Anita sang this, is she saying that her man, you've been out messing around, so maybe she just didn't think the lyrics were her level, but this was a masterclass.
Would you want to hear Anita Baker sing this song?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't believe it. I don't think I would have believed Anita Baker singing that "Love Should Have Brought You Home." I could believe her singing "I Apologize" because it felt like I've messed up. It's my, I should have screamed. What, by the way, So it's a more mature type of track. But "Love Should Have Brought You Home" is almost saying, maybe if she was 10 years younger, she might have thought about singing it.
Did you catch my shade? Because she is mean. That woman is mean. Do you see how she dogged Babyface a couple years ago?
No, it was a couple of years ago. It was last year.
Was that just last?
It was last. It was last. Yeah, it was last summer when they were on tour together. But it was they apologized and stuff. But no, I think Anita's gone through stuff. I think she's gone through stuff. But let me see what's it's a country song. If they wanted to be, it could have been a country song. Maybe that's why country music is so good. They do make this sort of heartbreak type of songs. Anyway, so that was my number 4. "Love Should Have Brought You Home" last night. Now we're in the top 3. We're down to the medal positions. Number 3. So, Miss J, what makes you number 3?
I don't think you're gonna like my top 3.
Bronze medal.
7 whole days. I love how they would say 7 whole days. I love how they put at the end of the word. So dramatic. I love it. 7 whole days.
I thought it would be higher. Okay. I thought you were about to sing a little bit of it.
No. That's enough.
Oh, goodness. Stevie, what about you? Number 3.
I just want to continue on about when you was mentioning about the actual song titles, like "Love Should Have Brought You Home," and again, I was relating before to like Barry White. Someone like Barry White, some of the songs he wrote, like "It's ecstasy when you lay next to me." I mean, what a genius lyric that is. And like, "You're my first, my last, my everything." Now, I've just remembered, actually, it makes complete sense why they wrote songs like this, because they were both Babyface and Daryl Simmons, as I do remember, were in a group in the 70s called Manchild.
Yeah.
They released 2 albums, and there's a track on one of their Manchild albums called, is it Especially? Let me just double check. Especially for You, I think it is. Yeah. If you get a chance, listen to Manchild, Especially for You. It's just an amazing 70s soul track that they were part of it's obviously they were doing music that far back, so obviously that influence they had back then, they still put it in the songs going into the 90s. But anyway, number 3, Breathe Again is number 3 for me. Could have been number 1, but it's ended up at number 3. It's just an all-time 90s R&B classic, and it's made my top 3.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's my number 3 as well. And at the end, she exhales or breathes. She just does that breathe again, and I just get, But I don't know who, if you have the CD, who did the backing vocals, because it sounds like was Pebbles on it or
Breathe Again?
Yeah, Breathe Again. Who did the backing vocals? Because when she's singing, then they're singing, and I love the fact that she's not singing the chorus as she's singing. It feels as if she's singing.
Her, Nnamdi. Just says her.
Are you kidding me?
Have you got a poster there? Does it open up in a poster, your one?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yours doesn't do that?
Well, I've got the European edition, so it's a booklet.
And look at all these nice little pictures.
Okay. Yeah, that's the European version of it.
I might have an American copy somewhere, because I have been buying like 50p copies in charity shops. I've got about 10 copies of this CD somewhere.
It sounds like you guys get better stuff than us. You get better remixes than we do.
but okay, so so it was only Toni Braxton singing the chorus of "Breathe Again."
You know what? I don't see.
That's what it says on it. Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't sound like unless they tweaked her vocals or something like that. Yeah, an apple of my eye. It sounded differently. Yeah.
You don't think
There's
it sounds
probably
like
more.
her?
There's probably more background vocals on it, Nnamdi, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Remember how they don't list them sometimes?
Sometimes they don't, but I mean, yeah. So I think that's the thing that really stood out for me was the backing vocals of "Breathe Again," but that was another original Anita song. That was another original Anita song. Okay. Um, my mom had the dress she wore at the back of the album. That's Chin Boy Shades. That was okay. Number two, Miss J. What makes your number two?
How many ways?
Wow.
I love how I just.
Wow, that
You
just
don't
barely
know.
made into my.
I can't believe it. I
Let
love
you
me some
count the
Toni.
ways.
Oh, and the way she even starts the song, like you just don't know. It's just, I love that. I love every little element of that song.
Let me count the ways.
1, 2, yes, that is wonderful. What are you talking about? Great. I love the countdown. I love it.
I think I like the fact that we're celebrating such a beautiful album, and we're very diverse in what we're picking. So I think no one loses; we all win. But it is amazing that we're finding different songs that we really celebrate. Yes. What about you, Stevie? What's your second one?
The original draft of my chart had this at number 1, but I had to quickly put it to number 2 because I realised what number 1 was. But Love Shoulda Brought You Home is number 2 for me.
Okay, you and Mac are the same.
And it's so strong it could have been number 1 because I do rate the song very, very highly. I've got a remix of this song actually. I think it's the Passion mix on an unreleased promotional CD single. I need to dig that out. I've actually never listened to the mix, so maybe I'll throw that in the package when I send it to you guys.
Okay.
I need to listen to that mix as well. Never listened to it, and I must have spent like $25 on the CD single as well.
I just kept it. Yeah. Who I wonder. Okay, Mac was saying. I wonder how many ways sparkled R. Kelly to do 12 play. Was Babyface and backing vocals of okay, so John Jay says Toni and Babyface. I could imagine Babyface always being on the backing of that. So you just had Love Shoulda Brought You Home
at number 2, yeah.
At number 2, yeah. As I said, you just can't argue with that. You just can't argue with that. No. My number 2. And initially, when I did the first run, this was number 1, but then it's jumped to number 2, and I just love 7 whole days.
Wow,
without enough to eat. What's a girl to do? It's almost like she's just feeling it, and she just it's just floating, and it's almost like the song was just like, oh man,
it's a nice floater. It floats
6 minutes and 22 seconds. Yeah. When you know the song is just so good, you just like, let's just extend this out there. Yes. I think this was the one I said was reminding me of Can We Talk? That kind of. It was almost as if they said, "Oh, let's just keep this and use that for Can We Talk."
Did you hear the remixes to this? There was some like heavy Jeep type of mixes that were done with a lot more bass in it on the single. I guess you like them. I think you'd like them as well.
People threw me to cover. No, I just loved. As I said, it was number 1 for 1. And I had to keep going through it, but I just, as I said, when I. And this is, right now, we were doing the merry stuff, 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the song. Back then, they're like, man, this song is so cool. Let's just play it. Let's just keep going on. One of my all-time favorite songs off the Barbie album is One More Chance, 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's why, I don't know. It's just, I think the average song here was about 5 minutes. It was about 4.5 minutes or so. But yeah, 7 whole days. Yeah, definitely my number 2. All right. Before we go to number 1, let's go and count down. Actually, if you had from 12 upwards, because there were 12 tracks. Well, if you want to include the reprise, but what was the last track upwards? Because we had a number of songs that we didn't make our top 10, so we can start from that and go all the way up to number 1. So, Miss J,
I should change my list. I realized when something is not on here that should be on here. I can't believe I left it off. Okay. So now my list is not. I don't like it now.
It's a good list. It's a good list, Jay. Strong. Don't worry about it.
Oh, but there's one song that has to be on here that's not. But okay, so as it was, because this was not my original list, but Best Friend. You want me to go through the whole list?
Yeah.
Okay, so just 10 though. It's Best Friend, 10, Love Affair, 9, Candlelight, Spending My Time. I can't even see my writing. Another Sad Love Song. And then I have Love Shoulda Brought You Home, You Mean the World to Me, 7 Whole Days, How Many Ways.
And what's number 1?
I can't call number 1 now because there's one I left off and I think it should be number 1. Okay. Originally I had I Belong to You because I love it so much, but Breathe Again, number 1.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I mean, okay.
It's a great number 1.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Breathe Again is definitely. As I said, for me, the backing vocals, when she's singing and how they drop in almost like they're almost like she's saying stuff and they're like yeah, you're right. That's and I just loved how that flows, and as I mentioned, that's what we're missing in today's R&B is the backing vocals part of the track. So yeah, definitely you couldn't go wrong. It doesn't matter which way you went. So
and Breathe Again. Remember how she breathes at the end of the song, all dramatic.
Yeah. But also Mark had it as number 1 as well. But what about you, Stevie?
Number 10 was Candlelight. Number 9 was Love Affair. Number 8 was 7 Whole Days. Number 7, Another Sad Love Song. Number 6, Spending My Time With You. Number 5, Give You My Heart. Number 4, I Belong to You. Number 3, Breathe Again. Number 2, Love Should Have Brought You Home. Before I get into my number 1, a big mention to Mac, who he emails me a lot, actually. He keeps sending me tracks that he listens to at home. Mainly like 80s and 90s stuff, but he always keeps reminding me of stuff, sir. And, sometimes I don't respond because he sends me a lot of it. I don't respond to them all, but I appreciate the emails, sir. Keep them coming. Great tips for interviews as well. But anyway, my number 1, there's only one number 1 for me, and it's just got great memories for me being in record shops back then, being in clubs, hearing the remix, hearing it on radio. It's How Many Ways. A great bedroom track as well in the album mix. Again, I've just got great memories of it. That's why it had to be my number 1.
Oh goodness! Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I didn't. I think I'm surprised. I don't know why I didn't really like that. That just creeped into my. Okay, number you'd 1. Find out. Yeah, for me, number 10 was How Many Ways. So you can see that I was like, okay, let's put it in there. But as I said, you can't have any bad songs on this album. Number 9 is I Belong to You. Number 8 was Candlelight. 7 is You Mean the World to Me. Number 6, Spending My Time with You. Just that, really ups. Love Affair. Love the story behind that song. at number 6. Sorry, number 5. Number 4, Love Shoulda Brought You Home. Could have been number 1. That's just an amazing track. Number 3 was Breathe Again. I'll never breathe again. Yeah. Number 2 was 7 Whole Days. And number 1, I mean, oh goodness. It's just another sad love song bringing my way. And it's all because of just to see.
Why does this not surprise?
Who did the back? You guys open up. Who did the backing vocals of this? Who did the backing vocals of?
It sounds even more like a nursery rhyme.
And I mean, who did the backing vocals of it?
Let me have a look.
You could hear them just
Deborah
all.
Killings.
Look at that! And who? I mean, you could just hear the. It is just such but I almost like how it just down, 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 oh, down, down, like crazy. Oh man, yeah.
So we've all picked a single then as a number 1 each.
Yes,
We all got released the singles.
I think it was. I mean, we picked the singles, but I don't. I think mine was just like you listen to the song. And maybe because yes, the singles they played them up more, but I just it was hard. I mean, as I said, anyone in the top 5 could have been number 1. Yeah. Because Love Shoulda Brought You Home could have easily been number 1, but I think I just loved how the album starts with this and it just progressed from there. I mean, mind you just buying the album and that's the first thing you hear and you're like, oh my goodness. And then you go, and then the next is Breathe Again and 7 Whole Days and Love. I was like, oh, okay. You know, you're almost like, what am I listening to? I mean, it's just, and I love the fact that he didn't just, put in 18 songs on there just to say, let's just put in songs. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and make a classic album.
I mean, you wouldn't think she could, after releasing this, she'd top this. And the album after did top this, even though she really did cross over into the mainstream by the time that second album dropped. But it's amazing, isn't it? It got even bigger for her after this.
Yeah, Unbreak My Heart. Whew. That song got it replaced No Diggity on the Billboard number 1. So No Diggity was number 1 for 4 weeks, and Unbreak My Heart came in. But Making Me High with Bryce Wilson. So she had some, and this is when what did she do with R. Kelly? I Don't Want To. I think this was and we're talking about secrets, guys. We're talking about secrets.
I love it. Some him sounds like that would have been R. Kelly. Did he do that?
I love me some him. I'm just wondering. Yeah, this one did 15 million worldwide.
Wow,
15 million worldwide. But this is when Toni. This is when Toni took the Boys to Men direction. Did the sort of adult contemporary. When she did Unbreak My Heart, that was like okay, because she could have just done the Jodeci and just kept into that market. But they were like, no, we need to keep. We need to work what Mariah was doing, what Boys to Men were doing. So they gave her those contemporary songs, and Unbreak My Heart really. That was the Grammy-winning song. That was the Celine Dion type of moment, and that took it to another level with that. But what can we say about Toni Braxton is that she didn't sound like anyone, maybe a little bit like Anita Baker.
Nope.
I said maybe a little bit. She had it was like the sauce, but she had her own voice. She had her own style. And she was just something that I think, I don't know if we celebrate her enough, because when we think of the 90s, I think Mary just dominates a lot of that. But I think Toni really should be given her props and her flowers for just coming out fighting and really holding her own. But yes, beautiful album. Definitely.
Yeah, good album for to celebrate Valentine's weekend, of course.
Yes, but also think about it. All the love songs on there, whether it's Love Shoulda Brought You Home, it's like, hey man, How come we didn't do our Valentines? 7 whole days. These are all heartbreak versions of the Valentine.
I've got How Many Ways at number 1. That's not a heartbreak song.
Okay. What did you have,
Belong
Steve?
to You is a good one. Yeah. It's a love song. Positive.
Spending My Time With You. That's not heartbreak. Love,
Yeah. Love Shoulda Brought You Home last night.
I think you like the heartbreak songs.
The love. But what did we do last week? That I said I can't remember what we did last week. What did we do? Mary. Yeah, no, but we did one with the men.
Wait and Exhale.
Was it Wait and Exhale? I think we did one that I talked about how these hot love songs. I can't remember what it was now, but how we spoke about how love songs can definitely make a massive difference. Anyway, I'll find it, but yeah. But it was something that she wasn't celebrated. I don't think she was celebrated like Mary was, but she definitely, even though she outsold most of those artists, she's definitely a living icon. So props to Toni Braxton. So, guys, it is.
One more point I'd like to make. Going back then, why we got love songs. If you think of a generational shift, we had to go out back then to meet somebody. Now, wherever that was, whether you went in a bar or club or the supermarket, I don't know, but you went out, you met somebody, you got to know him, and you created your own love story. Now, you think till the last 20 years, you think of Gen Z, what's their story? Their story is sat on Tinder or whatever it is, and they're going like this all the time. They're looking at pictures. How can they create a love story and messaging someone, hey, let's Netflix, and hey babe, let's Netflix and shit, or whatever it is, right to him. How do they create love stories out of that? This is why we're not getting any now. This is why we're not getting any great songs like we did back then. I fear for that generation. Will they ever experience what we experienced?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can still, if you're of a younger age now, get yourself out there. Don't sit on Tinder. Don't sit on whatever, dating site. Just don't do it. Get yourself out there and meet somebody. Seriously, it's a lot better.
Yeah. But also, as I said, the music really spoke a lot about. Music was really rich. The musicianship, the lyrics, they took the time with everything, and they didn't mind.
You get left Terry's chocolate oranges like I did today. So it's what happens. You get left nice gifts.
Gifts, definitely. So over the next couple of February, March, I know that we've got the Blood on the Dance Floor next weekend, and that's next Sunday because Stevie's has a boxing match to watch on the 22nd. So on the 23rd, Blood on the Dance Floor. We still also, in a distant future, we're going to do the Control album. Janet Jackson's Control album.
I think that's the first. You didn't tell me about that one, Nnamdi.
Yeah, the Control album, but also I just put it together. It was the Control album, but I think Stevie just pointed out that Jagged Edge have come out with a new album, and I gave it a listen, and I was really impressed by the fact that they're coming out with a new album. Can you want to talk a little bit about it? We're going to review it next month, but what did you want to say? A few things about that?
I just thought, from a lyrical point of view, vocal, it's got the R&B that we grew up on. You could argue it's got a modern day R&B production sound to it, but I think there's enough on that album for us to, give it a review. I think we should anyway. Because they came out in the late 90s, and they sort of, the baton was passed to them, wasn't it, from traditional male vocal R&B groups. They've kept going over 20 years, and I still think they can teach a few of the younger cats how to make an R&B record. So I think we should give the album a plug anyway. I think it's it's got some, and I think if we do come across a good new R&B album, I think we should highlight. You mentioned someone last week, Jay, October London. I need to go back to that album. I know he's heavily influenced by Marvin Gaye. There's a heavy Marvin influence on that album, but that guy can sing. He's like a modern day Maxwell, isn't he? Really. So we should be also looking out for, because we don't get many of them these days, do we? So when they do drop, I think we should be on them, and I think we should be mentioning them.
Yeah.
As well as our classic album, that some of our favorites from back then.
Yes, no, definitely. Somebody asked about Levert. The plan would be to get Mark Gordon, the last surviving member of Levert. So when we do a Levert top 10, we'll get Mark on the panel, so he can also give us his top 10 Levert tracks.
Hey, Jay, talking of Levert, do you remember a girl group called One of the Girls?
Yes.
You do remember?
I remember that the name of the group. I just can't remember a song. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Do the What it was called. Do the What. They had an album out as well. It was produced by Gerald Levert, and I thought you might have that you knew about them. You kind of got ties to them.
I think I should look it up. Actually, them, I wasn't old enough back when they were part of, when I came later. Later.
Yeah. But, and then okay. And then we've got the New Edition One Love album. I've been listening to it as well, and they have it's a strange album. So we'll be able to pick our bones through that one as well. So a lot coming over the next couple of weeks. So we've got a lot again. So definitely, guys, we appreciate you guys always. The comments while we're doing this show it makes the show. If you guys aren't commenting, it was almost as if we're talking to ourselves. But we read everything that gets posted, and it's right. All three of us are reading it as it gets posted, and it's coming from different areas, different channels and stuff. And we see each of them, and we'll respond as we can.
We've got best. We have the best viewers, Nnamdi. We have the best.
Yeah. This is what the community is. They're all part of this, and what we do is we're celebrating music. It isn't about us, it is about us just celebrating great music. And so
we love the comments as well, the YouTube comments when some of these absolutely slander us. We'll take that.
We take everything, yeah. But these artists, they do watch. They are watching, even though they are watching as well. So they appreciate that you guys. They appreciate you guys being and Chimboy Shades, this was an awesome live, couldn't help but engage. Hey, everyone, I think this is one of the first times we're seeing you, but we appreciate the fact you stopped by. But we'll keep posting some new stuff, and we'll definitely see you. So for myself, for Miss J, and for Stevie, we appreciate you guys. And yes, as I said, we've got some stuff coming. So just
tomorrow night as well. Don't forget to plug tomorrow night now.
Yeah, so tomorrow night. So the guys from NGS4, VJ and Andrew are coming on with the Tender Love album, and then so we will. So that should be the same time tomorrow, 9:30 UK time, 4:30 Eastern. But as I said, the next week is the Blood on the Dance Floor.
My husband.
We got Mike on that. But anyway, thanks you guys. We appreciate you. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow and next week and going forward. Take care.